Hey class, welcome to our lesson. Lesson number 6. We're going to be talking today about parallel lines. So I'm going to start off by saying that two non-vertical lines are parallel if they have the same slope, right? So if I'm asking you for two parallel lines, you'll know that they'll have the same slope. Since all vertical lines have an undefined slope, they're all parallel to each other, right? All horizontal lines that have a slope of 0 are also all parallel to each other. So we're going to start this off by determining the equation of the line on these graphs. So let's start off with the orange one. I'm just going to put that in orange, right? For the first one, we'll use the rise over run method. So I'm going to draw a triangle from these two lines, right? I'm just going to pick 2 points in the graph and draw a triangle to them. So in this situation, I'm going from -4 to 0. So I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4 points, right? And I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, right? So I know that my slope is equal to m is equal to rise over run, which is in this situation equal to 6 over 4, and I can reduce that over to 3 over 2, right? And then I know that my b value is just my y-intercept, which is here is 0 and 6, so I'm just going to take the 6 and I'm going to put that in, right? So then I have y equals m x plus b. I just want to go and fill in my m, which is going to be 3 over 2, x plus my b value, which is 6, and then I have that equation of line 1, which is it's probably your red line, but we're going to call it our orange line. Okay, let's do the same thing with purple. This time I'm going to use the y2 minus y1 formula. Both are acceptable methods. Whichever one you want to use is completely up to you. It just depends on which one you're more comfortable with. So I'm going to take this one. This is 0.0, -3. This one is 0.43, right? So I just took two random points on the line, and I'm going to say slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to make the 4 over 3 my x2 and y2, and then I'm going to make the 0 and -3 my y1 and x1. So I'm just going to go plug in those numbers. So I'm going to do 3 minus -3 over 4 minus 0. So the two negatives become a positive. So it's going to be 3 plus 3. 4 minus 0 is just 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 over 4 can reduce to, again, 3 over 2. Then I want to know what my b value is. My b value is just where it crosses the y-intercept, so I know it's -3. So I'm going to make my line y equals mx plus b. Y equals 3 over 2 x plus -3. That positive and negative becomes a negative. So I have that. So what do we notice is the same about these equations? So we have y equals 3 over 2x plus 6, and then we have y equals 3 over 2x minus 3. So the one thing that seems to be the same about these is that slope of the line, right? So our m values are the same. Our m values are both 3 over 2, which means the slope is the same, right? What's different? 3 over 2x minus 3, 3 over 2x plus 6. Our y-intercept values, which is b, are different. I'm just going to go back in. Values are different. Okay? So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to say, therefore, we know this isn't the same line. Because they have different y-intercepts. but they are parallel. Due to having the same slope. Okay? So it says previously in your homework questions, you've had questions like determine this equation of the line that has the same slope as 2x plus blah, 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 blah. What we're going to do is we're going to replace that line that says with the same slope as with parallel to, because they mean the same thing. So remember when I was talking about math is all language? So if you're going to think about it, saying with the same slope as is the same thing as saying parallel to. They're synonymous to each other. Okay? So let's try to do a few example questions. I'm going to show you how to do example 1 step by step, and then maybe you can try and pause this video and do example 2 and example 3 and example 4 on your own, and then I will continue taking those up. So we are back to here at example 1, and it says we're going to determine this equation of the line that is parallel to the line 2x plus 3y minus 4 equals 0. And I'm just going to label that as line 1. Like I said here, highlighted parallel to, like I said, saying something is parallel to means that you have the same slope. So the first thing we're going to do, so step 1, right? Step 1 is going to be, I'm just going to change this to a black pen. Right, step 1, find, oops, sorry. Find, let's find the slope of the line, that line 1, right, by putting it into y-intercept form, right? Because remember when I said that standard form is a pretty useless form for us to use, so I'm just going to go and I'm going to write that in. So I'm going to just change this over to the y-intercept form. So I have y, 3y minus 4 equals 0. So I have a positive 3y, right? You can either move the 3y over to the other side or you can leave it here, move everything else. I'm going to move everything else. So I'm going to move the 2x by subtracting 2x. Plus 3y, I'm going to leave that here, minus 4. In order to get rid of minus 4, I'm going to add 4, right? Equals 0. Minus 2 plus 4, right? Plus this gives you 0, plus 3, negative 4 plus 4 gives you 0, plus 0 equals 0 minus 2x plus 4, right? We can just get rid of the zeros here, so I'm just going to actually erase them so that I have enough space. So then I have 3y equals 2x, that should be 2x. 2x plus 4, divide both sides by 3 because I want to get rid of that 3 in front of the y, so I'm left with y, 2x over 3 plus 4, and that's a negative, plus 4 over 3, right? I'm left with y, and we know that m is going to be the number in front of the x, so my m is negative 2 over 3. So that's my slope. So now that I have my slope, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to step 2. So step 2 says that I know, right, that I need to make it y equals mx plus b. My other line is going to be y mx plus b. So I have the slope and I have a point, so let's find b. So let's say y, so my x and y are going to be negative 3 and 5. So I'm just going to write out the equation and then tell you where we're going to plug stuff in. So I have y equals mx plus b. My y is 5. My m is negative 2 over 3, which I just found. My x is going to be negative 3 plus b. That negative 3 and 3 can cancel out to give us negative 1. So then I have 5 equals negative 2 times negative 1 plus b. Right? Then I'm going to do, okay, 5 equals negative 2 times negative 1 just gives me 2 plus b. 5. In order to get rid of the 2, I'm going to do minus 2 on both sides. So 5 minus 2 equals b. 5 minus 2 is just 3 equals b. And then step 3, write out your equation. So I'm left with y equals negative 2 over 3x plus 3, and that is my equation of the line. Okay. Did I solve the question? Yes, I did. Determine the equation of the line, so then I can move on. So you try doing example 2 by using those steps as well, and then see if you can figure it out on your own. So pause this video here. I'll give you a second, and then I'm going to move on and do the rest. So for example 2, it says determine the equation of the line that is parallel to, right? That has the same slope as the line x minus 4y minus 6 equals 0 and passes through point 0, 2. I know that this is also my y-intercept. Therefore, b equals 2. Right, so let's find the slope of this line. So step 1. Right, so how am I going to find the slope? By putting it into y-intercept form. So whenever you're given something in standard form, always change it to y-intercept form. So I have x minus 4y minus 6 equals 0, right? Since that's a negative 4y, it probably just makes sense for me to move it over so it becomes a positive. So I'm going to make this plus 4y over here, plus 4y over here. So then I'm left with x plus 4y minus 4y cancel each other out. So I have x minus 6 equals 4y, right? Forgot to change my colors. That's okay. And then I'm left with the 4 there, so I want to get rid of it. Minus 4, so I'm left with x over 4 minus 6 over 4 equals y. I can change this x over 4 to 1 over 4x minus 3 over 2 equals y, right? That's my equation of the line, so I know that my m is just 1 over 4. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for the slope. Then I'm going to go to step 2. Find b. Do we already know what b is? Yeah, we found out what b is. So b is 2. Another way you could have done this, you could use slope point form, but we already had it, so I'm not even going to bother doing that. So I'm just going to say y equals mx plus b, y equals 1 over 4x plus 2, and that is my equation of that line. Moving on to example 3, right? There's one thing that should catch your eye right away. You see this x is equal to 4. If we go back and we think about our equation and our lesson on horizontal and vertical lines, x equals 4 is another way of saying the slope is undefined. And what kind of lines have an undefined slope? Therefore, the line is vertical. So we know this is a vertical line. In a vertical line, x's always stay the same. So if this is a parallel vertical line, it means that the x is going to stay the same. We have 8 and 10, which means that our next one is going to be 8 and 11. And then we're going to have 8 and 12, and so on and so forth. Our x is always going to stay the same, so we're going to say x equals 8. is the equation of that line, because x is always going to equal 8 regardless of where in the line that is. Okay? So example 4 over here, last but not least. Notice how we go from easy, right? A little bit more complicated. Little bit more complicated, most complicated, right? So if you are getting it, try and test your knowledge and figure out, okay, am I actually understanding this? Can I apply this? Okay, so it says, determine the equation of the line that is parallel to, which means it has the same slope, and always dissect and understand what they're asking, right? So it has the same slope as line 1, and has the same y-intercept, which means that when y equals 0, has the same x-intercept as this line over here. So x and 0 are going to give you the same point, right? So leave your answer in standard form. This is important. Leave your answer in standard form. So don't leave it in y equals mx plus b form. So there's a few steps that we got to take. Number 1 is going to be, we want to find the slope. We know it's parallel to 3x plus y minus 1, so find the slope. Of 3x plus y minus 1 equals 0. So let's rearrange this. 3x plus y minus 1 equals 0, right? Let's leave the y here. Let's get rid of the 3x on this side. Let's get rid of the negative 1 on that side. So then I'm left with negative 3x plus 1 plus 0. This cancels, this cancels. So I'm left with y equals negative 3x plus 1, right? So my slope is going to just be negative 3. Cool. So step 2 is going to be, it says it has the same x-intercept, so let's find the x-intercept. I know that the x-intercept is when y is equal to 0. So sub y, sub is 0. Okay, so let's find out what it is. So we have 2x plus y minus 4 equals 0. 2x plus 0 minus 4 equals 0. And just do the math. Negative 4. 0 minus 4 is just negative 4 equals 0. I want to get rid of the 4 on this side, so I'm going to add it to both sides. Divided by 2, because I want to get the x by myself. So x is equal to 4 over 2, which is the same thing as saying 2. Right, so my point is going to be 2, 0. So now I have a point, and I have m. So I have x, y, x and y, and I have m. I can find the equation of this line very easily. I'll use, you can use y equals mx plus b, right? Or you can use point slope form. I'm going to use point slope form because I already did it by plugging and substituting into y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to use point slope form. So I'm going to do y minus y1 equals x, m minus x minus x1, right? I know that my y1 is going to be 0. So I have y 0 equals m, which was negative 3, x minus 2, right? Because I had 2 and 0. So I have y equals negative 3x, because I did negative 3 times x, times negative 3 times negative 2 is going to be positive 6, right? So I'm left with negative 3x plus 6, and that's my equation of the line. That is in y-intercept form. So now, change to standard form. So let's change it. So we're going to do y equals negative 3x plus 6, right? So we want to move the y to the other side, so we're going to minus y on both sides. Y minus y equals negative 3x minus y plus 6, right? So I'm left with 0, negative 3x minus y plus 6. I know that I have one big problem here, is that my a is negative, so I'm going to multiply everything by negative 1, multiply everything by negative 1, 0 equals negative 1 times negative 3 is 3x, negative 1 times negative y is plus y, negative 1 times positive 6 is negative 6, so that's my equation in standard form. And that is the answer to example 4. See you tomorrow.